After spending thousands and thousands of hours inside of church, I have never heard a pastor talk about this as a reason why people will get sent to hell. And I want to preface by saying God doesn't send anybody to hell. Hell is a byproduct of the decisions that we make. God doesn't randomly select who's going to go into heaven and who's going to spend eternity with him. You end up at each destination based on the choice that you make. The Bible tells us in Deuteronomy chapter 30, where God tells his people, "Behold, I set before you life and death, and blessings and curses, and I call upon all of heaven and earth to witness a decision that you might make. Oh, that you would choose life." Heaven is a decision as much as hell is a decision. And you pick where you're going to spend all of eternity. And in hell, you're not going to find a lot of people that were actively engaging in witchcraft. You're not going to find a lot of people that were actively engaging in immorality. You're not going to find a lot of people that are actively engaging in evil. One of the things you're going to find a lot of people that spend an eternity in hell is that they were doing this very one thing: nothing. They had a sense of indifference. They just lived life just like a dead fish floating down the stream. They were neither contending for the faith, they were neither advancing the kingdom of darkness. And Jesus said this in Revelation chapter 3. He said, "Be hot or cold. If you are lukewarm, I will spit you out of my mouth." Meaning, be hot, be on fire for God and on fire for the kingdom, or be absolutely cold. If you are lukewarm, if you are somewhere in the middle, I will spew you out of my mouth. And then he continues on by saying, "Now turn away from your indifference." Indifference is the sin in this generation. Indifference is the sin that's sending millions and millions of people into a lost eternity. And don't live life indifferent. Don't live life outside of the will of God. Heaven is a place for the overcomer. But this one sin that I've never heard of is actually going to surprise you. This is taken from Revelation chapter 21, verse 8. It says, "But the cowards, the unbelievers, the corrupt, murderers, the immoral, those who practice witchcraft, idol worshippers, and all the liars, their fate is in the fiery lake of burning sulfur, which is the second death." The one that led the charge weren't people that did witchcraft. The one that led the charge weren't the murderers. The one that led the charge weren't the people that even worshipped other gods and false idols. The one that led the charge into firing furnace were the cowards. And when you look up that word in the original Greek, it's talking about those who were afraid, those who were timid, those who were shy to stand up for the gospel of Jesus Christ. Those who wanted to live holy but blended in with the rest of the world. Those that complied to evil. Those are the ones that are going to spend their life in an eternity of fire. And you may even see them around you. You might be one of them right now, but you're not going to live your life as a coward. I pray that there's a boldness that comes upon you, that you're going to live your life on fire, out and open about God. We have so many people coming out of the closet talking about, oh, how it's so freeing, how it's so liberating, how I can change my name and change my pronouns to this, that, and the other. But we have so many Christians going back into the closet. You need to come out of the closet and be proud that you have a new name, that your name is written in the Lamb's book of life, that you were somebody that was living in sin, but now you're the righteousness of Christ. You need to be out and about your faith. Christians aren't supposed to live their life in this little cocoon, in this little bubble, in this little club, where they just go once a week for a little 90-minute service to talk about their faith in private. Jesus commanded us in Matthew chapter 28. He said, "Now go unto all the world and preach the gospel and make disciples of all the nations." Don't be afraid to share your faith. Don't be afraid to stand up for righteousness and stand against sin. That's what's needed in today's society. And this pattern of cowardness has gone on over and over and over again throughout all of history. Look at Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. The entire population of the Israelites were in Babylon, but they shut up. They're willing to bow down and worship the false god. And they imagine them telling Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, just don't worry. God knows your heart, amen? No, stand up for something. Because of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's boldness to stand up and say, listen, we're not bowing down to the false god. We're not going to worship. We're not going to comply with what everybody else is doing. But because we serve the true and living God, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Because they made that bold stand, they were actively persecuted. They were thrown into the fire. What happened? Jesus delivered them. Don't worry about the persecution. Don't worry about what the mean tweets. Don't worry about the mean Instagram posts. Don't worry about the mean TikToks or even the mean things that they're going to say to you on YouTube. Stand up for Jesus and he will defend you. And when he does, the world is going to take notice. Jesus said, in this world you will have trials and you will have tribulation and you will be persecuted, but fear not, for I have overcome the world. Don't fear the persecution. Don't fear the ridicule. Don't fear the getting made fun of, because Jesus will defend you and he will elevate you. You know, anywhere that you're tested, just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, just like Daniel, just like David, when they stood against the face of evil, there was promotion waiting for them on the other side. God is going to promote you for making a bold stance for his kingdom. And God's going to use you mightily to impact this generation. You're going to be a person of influence. You're going to be a person that brings in the harvest. You're going to be a person that God's going to use for revival in these end times. And there's nothing the devil can do to stop it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for the next ones.